Hi, welcome again to my channel. Tech SIM card, don't forget to subscribe, like, blah, 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 and all the cool things that you need to do so you can grow. Today, I'm going to be showing you part 2 of how to build a website. I'm not going to go over the basics that I went through on video 1. Please go there. Things like registering a domain, the different packages, etc. Choosing a domain. Domain is example.co.za. In this video, I'm going to be showing you 2 things. WordPress and builders. What is WordPress and what are builders? So let's get into it. So what is WordPress? So WordPress is basically a platform that you use. It's an open source platform, meaning anybody and everybody can use it for you to be able to build websites. Now, different ISP companies, internet service providers, like Afrihost, the one that I love, have embedded WordPress onto their platform so that you can use it to be able to build, customize websites and build basically an ecosystem for your business organization. Why do I like WordPress rather? WordPress allows for so many developers to kind of build things onto it, tools and little things that we can use to be able to build websites and kind of take that sort of ecosystem and technology and embed it onto our quote unquote domain. So without any waste of time, let me show you what it actually looks like. So I've logged into my client zone or Afrihost client zone. If you don't know what a client zone is or Afrihost client zone is, please head on to video 1. I explain everything. But just for those who are here, client zone is basically where you manage your www.example.co.za, known as a domain. I've registered mine inside here. It might look different to yours, but it's basically the same sort of thing. So I've logged in my one. If you guys remember from video 1, I used this particular platform called SiteJet Builder. It's a basic one that allows you to build a website. We're going to get a bit more kind of detailed and kind of more advanced on this lesson. The idea is to kind of teach you and open a gateway or a portal or this big candy store that you can go into and kind of design websites. Now, we're going to be using what is known as a builder. What is a builder? A builder is basically a piece of technology that sits on a server that allows you to design websites without the use of using code. I always say to people, think of builders like your PowerPoint. So if you know how to use PowerPoint, drag and drop, for those who knows how to use Canva.co.za, Canva.com. Those are to use Canva.com. It's basically kind of the same sort of technology you use to kind of embed things on the site. Now, why do you want to use builders? Most of the websites today, big companies, are using builders. Our government uses a builder. The Department of Technology, if I'm not mistaken, uses a builder. Kai FM uses a builder, the same builder that you would use on a WordPress. So technically, if you know how to use this, you're able to kind of not really walk into Kai FM or Media 24, but you're able to use it. So let's actually check a website that uses WordPress. mybroadband.co.za, which is one of my favorite websites to check what's up and coming with tech. They write really cool stuff. They got quite a few journals who work here and kind of do really cool stuff. So from face value, I look at, okay, this website is also monetized because there's a lot of advertising here. So if you right click on the site and say inspect elements, it used to say inspect elements, it just says inspect now. If you go under sources and you have a look at all these platforms here, and then it doesn't really show you, but I can see if it's designed by WordPress. So I don't want you to do the reading this gibberish here, but if you look at this line of code here, it has WP-content. WP normally stands for WordPress, but there's another cooler way of doing it. You can install this extension called What Runs This. So it basically kind of scans the website. You can just type extension What Runs This, and then you install it. It will sit here. I won't go into that. That's easy to do. So you see here, they're running WordPress 6.2.2. These they even have the theme of what they're using. A theme is basically a template that you have created or have kind of customized from the builder. So you've got WordPress, you've got the builder, and you've got a theme inside the builder so that you can use. There's different themes for technology, for shopping, for if you're an attorney, if you're a doctor. There's certain elements within those types of websites that are common. For an example, if you're doing a shopping one, you always have a cart, you'll always have a buy option, you'll always have a store to be able to put in your products, etc. For a lawyer, you'll always have some sort of neat kind of design, very minimal, very corporate kind of looking. For an advertising agency, you have a lot of color. So it's just templates. Think of PowerPoint, like I said. So this is one of them. Let's try another website. KaiFM. I know KaiFM as well uses WordPress. It's similar. So if you go there and right click and then say inspect, you get this. And you go under sources again. There you see WP content. And I can actually see what themes they're using. And it's a theme called Pro Radio. Or you can just use my plugin, which analyzes the site. And you see you've got WordPress there. So the reason I'm showing you how to use WordPress is that most people are using WordPress. So if you know how to use WordPress, you possibly be able to kind of tweak the KaiFM website. Previously, when people learn how to use code, and it's not necessary for you to learn each and every language today. By the time you're done learning languages, technology would have moved so fast that you'll be left behind. So what I try and teach is that people need to know how to design and then work their way backwards. Design thinking. Go study design thinking. There's a lot of videos up that you can watch. So once you're inside Afrihost, you're going to scroll down. Remember I said site jet builder. You're going to scroll right to the bottom. Go under WordPress. Then you're looking for this install button. It says install. So your domain will read differently. Whatever company I registered mine as my name, simlet.co.za. Can remove this WP. I'm not going to worry about this WP for now. If you don't know what it means, go back to the video one. But for this purposes, it's just to install. So I'm not going to put any passwords, but normally you put an admin username, which would normally be your email. And then you'd use an admin password, which normally be a password. What this does, it's going to allow you to be able to log in to the back end of your WordPress manager. For this one, I'm just going to use the standard one. I'm going to run the installation, and then it's basically doing the installation. Now I'm going to skip to the end so that you don't have to wait for this. Okay, we're back. It's done. So you see these two, you're greeted with these two pages. It says two rather lines. It says, congratulations, your software is installed successfully. You've got simlet.co.za, which is the actual domain. And then you've got administrator URL, which normally would have /WP, which stands for WordPress -admin. And then you would log in there. You click on that one because we're trying to make changes to the site. Then it opens the site. You can do this get started sort of part, but I don't use this yet. They've kind of embedded some bit of AI to kind of help you design the one you'd want. But play around, see what you get out of this. I haven't tried it yet. WordPress has kind of changed a few things. But anyway, you go to the bottom left here and say exit. It goes to this page. Now, as you enter this page, you're greeted with these things. Don't worry about them for now, but we're going to focus on the one that says appearance. Then under appearance, you go under themes. Now, remember I said a builder And then we've got themes under the builder. So there's different types of builder. The builder that we are going to use today is called Themify Ultra. It's made by a company from Canada. We're going to use that. It's a simpler version of it, but you also got Elementor, which is the most popularly used one. And you've got Shopify, which is more for your selling stuff, doing coaching online where people can pay. Shopify is basically your ready to go online shopping toolkit. So you can build basically a take-a-lot type of website to be able to sell stuff. People who do drop shipping use Shopify. If you want me to do that, I don't think I want to do that on this level. Maybe we could do it on like a little closed portal where we can do a Q&A live and I'll be able to help you. But what I want people to do is kind of try out stuff and get lost, get stuck, then ask me questions and say, hey, I'm getting stuck here. I would like to know how to do this. But for the demonstration of this video, after appearances on this dashboard, you can play around and find out what these mean. But I'll give you a brief sort of synopsis or overview. You've got posts, which is basically your post. That's where the term blogging comes from, my blog. WordPress is kind of like the people that have owned that term. So post would be what you post on your site as an article, as a blog, as your thoughts. Maybe you want to share a couple of things and it's more details. You can add videos, you can add all sorts of things. I won't go into that. You've got media. Media is basically when you've got, let's say you've got images you want to upload. You can upload the images, they would sit under media. Let's say you've got little videos. I wouldn't use videos. There's another way of doing it that's more user-friendly and the UX experience or the user experience is more kind of, what's the word? More kind of friendly and better is the word. So media, photos, you put it there. You can put videos, you can put documents if you wanted to put documents. In a document setup would be, say you want people to kind of download something on your site to be able to use, let's like a workbook or a little resume or CV or whatever piece of PDF that you want them to do, it'll sit under that media. Or in a more advanced stage, you say you want to sell a PDF book to people for them to download. That PDF book would exist here. And then you put a pay gate, what is known as a pay gate, meaning when people want to access it, they kind of pay a little fee to you, they download it, or they subscribe or whatever. That's a different conversation. Then you have pages. Pages are basically these little tabs. Let's go back to the Kai FM website. Pages would be these icons. So there's a page, that's a page, that's a page, that's a page, that's a page. Sometimes it's not a page. Sometimes it's just like what is known as a hyperlinked section. So if you click that, it'll go to a bottom of a page. But most of the time, it's basically pages. So if I click on shows here, it literally opens another page. Now, how do you know it's another page? If you look at the URL here, it will say radio_shows. If I say home, this URL will change. You see? That's the default. Or if you say podcasts, under podcasts, you'll see this and you'll see podcasts because you know where you are in terms of the page. You're under the podcast page. So if you wanted people to go to this page without going to the home page because that's where it's going to default to, you'd copy this URL. Makes sense. Then you've got comments, which would sit under here. So when you're replying, when you've posted stuff and you want to reply, then you've got appearances, we got themes, you got an editor, which is the editor of the theme. You got customize, which you can literally tweak anything that you want on the website. And you've got plugins. Now, what plugins are, it's basically little, lack of a better phrase, little small pieces of themes that allow you to do certain functionality. I'll give you a classic one. Classic one would be content. So let's say you want to make a contact page there where people put in their details and subscribe to your channel, to your website, or a newsletter, then you would use a plugin. You download a plugin. So what happens is that because WordPress is open source, you have a community of people and developers around the world that are designing things that are the same code at the back, essentially, but the design might be a bit different in terms of color and whatever the case might be. Then they allow you to download that and use that and embed it so that you don't have to sit through the code. And that is why WordPress is so widely used, because there is a plugin for everything you can think of. You want a button, you'll get it. You want a coming soon on your page while you're busy with something. You want a flashing soon, coming soon page. A typical one would be here under Kai FM. If you go under home, you have this sort of thing that busy swishing here of the things that are currently. A great one, let's say we go to the game website, which is a shopping website, a shopping store, an online store. So if you look at it here, you can see game 55th birthday. This is specific and time-based, and you see it swishing. So you have something that is already designed to be able for you to just embed this and be able to change things. After the sale is done, you can move on to other things, because if you click on this stuff, it goes to something that the company is trying to do. I know this is a bit detailed, but my goal with helping people build channels, build websites, build websites is that go through the madness of what is involved without using code, so that when you get stuck, you're able to troubleshoot, or anybody that's inside the company, the organization, is able to troubleshoot and is able to find solutions when the website is not working as they would want it. Because websites evolve, they become more and more detailed, and there's things you can use. So I'm just showing you these things that you can use, examples of these. But now let's go to appearances. I'm not going to worry about these ones at the bottom. They're more for advanced kind of level. You are free to go and try them out. Should you fail and get confused with what you're doing on your website, please just drop me an email. textincard@gmail.com. textincard@gmail.com. Just drop me an email. So yeah, under appearances, we go under themes. So inside themes, we've got these builders or builder themes, or, and we don't want to use these standard ones. Remember I said we're going to use Themify Ultra, and then you're going to add, you're going to upload, you're going to choose a file. This is the file that I want. If you want this file, please let me know. I can send it to you, and then you open and you install. And then once it's done, you click activate. So you're basically imposing anything that was on this website, you're imposing it to override and put this. Now you're greeted with this page. So if you have a look here, there's a couple of examples that you see. You see all these themes: Ultra Portfolio, Ultra Photography, Ultra Restore. It's just theme ideas that you can use. Now, if I want to choose anything from here, let's say I'm an attorney, I can choose here, or a lawyer, import. Then I say proceed to import. Then what it's doing, it's taking all the assets. Assets are the different elements within the page, photos, the code as well, and everything that is in. It's kind of imposing it because it's a template that we are going to tweak. Remember, I keep referring to PowerPoint presentation. In PowerPoint presentation, you're able to tweak whatever. You don't go out there and just use the PowerPoint presentation as it is. You customize, you put in your information, and then you're able to do certain things. And then once you're done, you basically can go right up to the corner here to the left and you say visit site. After visiting the site, it's just going to load, depending on the speed of your network, might load a bit slow, might load a bit fast. And then you've got your site. Boom, boom, boom. So this would be your page. So what you want to do now, I want to show you now, is basically how to edit this builder. You see it says turn on builder. You click on turn on builder. I've kind of changed this just now. Let's say I wanted to change this text SIM card. I want to change it to Gmail. Let's say I want to change it to simlet@gmail.com. You want to add the title mail to with the double colon. That's basically for the HTML or the code language to read this particular icon, which is email us, to read it as a hyperlink, meaning that when people click on it, it auto opens your mail application, Outlook or whatever, whether you're on a phone or a desktop or a tablet. You can change this email me. This is just taste, depending on what you want to do. Where do you want to put email me? It's in a situation where you have this page and maybe people are on the page of the director of the company or whatever the case. Then you need to save that. We've changed this from email us to email me. You want to change this from email us to email me. So then you're done. Then you save your changes. And you want to go into incognito mode again. Right click on the top here, say incognito. Remember, it defaults to this because it's opening the direct URL. So remember, you had that username when you were installing the file or installing WordPress from Afrihost. You can put it in here and then your password. My one, it just said admin and pass, which is like default. So I just want to remove this because I'm going to the page that everybody's going to see. There it says email me. Then if I click here, it opens a mail application. It already says simlet@gmail. Then the person would put in their details and send the email. It's kind of great user experience as opposed to a person copying the email and then which is really, really bad experiences for people who are using. So I'm going back. Now let's say I want to change this image here. I'm going to turn on my builder again. And then let's say I'm going to find, there's a cool website called unsplash.com. So what unsplash.com is a website that you can find images. They're royalty free, meaning you don't have to get consent from the person who took the photo. If you want to credit them, you can credit them, but they're royalty free. So let's say we're looking for law firm. And then let's say I like this image as a hero image. I can just say save image or download image. Then I'll call it hero. This is for demonstration purposes. I'll save it on the desktop. Normally, I would organize this stuff as I design the site. It's an AVIF file, which won't work. So this, let me see. Okay, so this one is for sale. Okay, maybe let's find something that is not for sale. Let's have a look here. Which other one? Okay, this one looks pretty cool. So all these ones have like, these ones that have icons, that means they are for sale. So maybe let's choose this one. This one doesn't. I'm gonna download this. Then I'm gonna name it as the same as this. I'm gonna save it. There it is. Then now I'm gonna go in here, and then if you hover here, you see this purple sort of thing. It means you're editing this. Inside this, there's this. So I'm gonna go to the corner here, and I'm looking for this icon, which is to edit. Then I click here, background. Here's the image. Now I'm going to click there. I'm going to go to upload. So all these images are the ones that are currently sitting in the assets folder. In the assets folder inside media library, if that makes sense. Remember, we spoke about media in WordPress. So this is where all the stuff is sitting. But I want to upload a file from my desktop, which is what I downloaded, which is this file. This is the file. Then I'm going to say open the file. Normally I would resize the file, but that normally comes in later so that it loads a bit quicker. And then I say insert, and there's the file. And I say save. Now you see there's a whole lot of other icons. If you wanted an icon here, you literally just drag it and it will be there. Then I'm done. Just gonna refresh. Then I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna go into incognito mode. Just remove this. Now the changes have been made. Look at that. And you can go as far as changing these other things. Now, it depends on how far you want to go with the site. One more tip as we close off this particular segment of part 2. I just want to close off the video. I don't want to make the video too long. Let's say you're comfortable with what you've designed on page 1, which is the home page. You've changed these. If you wanted to find out what each of these are saying, you literally turn on the builder and go and look at what it says. And you'll know. You can do your photo shoot. You can have the pictures here. But let's say I'm fine with this, but I want to launch and I haven't done these other ones. So what you want to do, you go back to your WordPress. And under appearance, menus, another word for pages that would sit, for an example, this website, under these menus. Another word for it, is menus, but another word is pages. Under appearance, you go to menu. You see on your main menu, this is what you have. So whatever you remove here is going to go away. So what you want to do, you can just do this and remove this, remove that, remove that, remove this, and then save the menu. When you go to your incognito, and I'm just going to remove this, but because maybe I've used them before, I can just refresh this. Now I've only got one page. So why am I showing you this at the end? You can design the site and keep adding pages as you go. You don't have to wait. And that's the beauty of designing with builders or WordPress or anything. Now, a lot of people ask me, why are you giving this stuff for free? If I had to do a video every day just on web development or web design or design thinking, I could actually go on a video every day for a year without repeating stuff. There's just so much that people, I feel, need to learn, need to know. And for those small companies, I know my frustration when I started out. I had to learn all this stuff because I didn't have a website and I couldn't afford like 5,000 Rand, 7,000 Rand. And sometimes I could, some people can't afford 2.5, which is a lot. Maybe you've got, and I always use this example. Let's say you have 5,000 Rand and then 2,500 is for stock. Now, half of your money is going to a website. What if you could build it just to get yourself out there? And then maybe when you have a bit more money, you can have like proper people to design for you. It takes years, it takes time to be a really good designer. Have a great user experience, have great user interface. People can navigate with ease and find things easy. It takes time to do that. That's a skill you can acquire over time. And that's when you need like people who are really good. But you're not a big company. And I'm really designing this and making these videos for people I feel shouldn't go through what I went through. So anyway, if you have any more questions, please let me know. There's more you can do with this stuff. Hit me up. I'm more than willing to answer questions, yeah. And don't forget to subscribe, to like, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.